Flex.
How much podcast I do? What's going on, you guys? Brandon from Vegas, and welcome back to the Won't You Be My Neighbor podcast with your host, Brandon from Vegas, and always our second host, Nika Realtor. So this is the podcast where we tell you guys everything you need to know about real estate. We break it down into really easy, simple terms. We also stream this on TikTok Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live. We're pretty much everywhere. We also break down some fun clips of this for you guys later. And remember to stick around to the after show where we put the real in real estate.
Yeah.
Real estate after dark, I guess we can call it. Yeah. Remember how there was like BET after dark, right? Like this is real estate
like
after
the spicy
dark.
Channel,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not
the
really
spicy
that spicy
channel. So today's class is on one of my favorite subjects, and it's called How to Take Advantage of the FHA Loan. How to take advantage of the FHA loan. And why do we use the word take advantage, Nika? Because the FHA loan is designed to take advantage of you. That's right. Now, it sounds like I'm knocking this thing, but I have to tell people the truth. I can't just tell you the pros of something. I also have to teach you guys the cons. So here we go. The FHA loan, like most government programs, is designed to take advantage of your financial illiteracy. If you are my age, then you probably didn't learn shit about financial education growing up.
Nope.
Right? Like, unless
With
you
your
were from...
credit,
What's that?
No, I was going to say, especially with credit, like unless you had your parents who had good credit to teach you, the only way you learn is you just have to fuck it up yourself. You fuck it up and then you rebuild it. That's how you learn.
The only way to learn is to fuck it up yourself. My host, Nika, she gets right to the fucking point, doesn't she? Okay. So today's class is first to teach you why the FHA loan takes advantage of you. And to do that, I have to explain to you guys what I mean when I say government voices take advantage of you, okay? At 18 years old with no government college, they're willing to loan you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school and pay for government college. Once you graduate from that government college, smarter, supposedly, they won't loan you that same money to buy a house. So what they're saying is when you were 18 and uneducated, they were willing to loan you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to their overpriced government schools. But once you graduate from that overpriced government school and you want to buy a house, you can't because they won't loan you the money. Think about that. They're saying that they would rather trust you with money when you were 18 than to trust you with money when you're 22 and college educated, right? It's a trap. It's a complete trap. All right. So that is why we taught the class. It's not about beating the FHA loan. It's about taking advantage of the FHA loan. It's about taking advantage of the FHA loan. Okay. You don't know what you don't know. You're right. You don't know what you don't know. And that's why these classes are free and they're designed to educate you guys because you don't know what you don't know. Nika, what do you know about the FHA loan that you think is valuable for people to know?
For the FHA loan, it's less money down. It's not 20% down, which everybody and your mom will tell you. Oh my God. To buy a house, you need 20% down, which is ridiculous. We already talked about that, how it's just such a waste of money. But
we're going to go over that in today's class. That's a huge section of the class. No, I'm glad you brought that up. One of the huge sections in today's class is how 20% down is a huge lie, especially in 2023. And it's really only useful for like 5% of the population, honestly. All right. So what you guys need to know about the FHA loan, other than it takes advantage of you, is this. FHA loans are 3.5% down, which means most of you can afford that down payment. FHA loans allow up to 50% debt to income, which means even if your debt, even if you're spending a lot of money, you can still qualify for the FHA loan. All right. And the big thing you guys need to know with the FHA loan and what we're going to teach you guys today is it has permanent mortgage insurance premium. It's called MIP. Now, a lot of you may have heard of PMI. A lot of you may have heard of PMI. PMI makes sense, right? PMI is mortgage insurance. PMI is saying you didn't put 20% down. You don't have a lot of skin in the game. We have no insurance of you backing out. So we're going to add a little extra to your mortgage. PMI makes sense, right?
Right.
Like if you loan somebody $10, you probably wouldn't need mortgage insurance, right? You wouldn't be like, hey, man, I need $1 from you every day until I get my $10 back, right? But if you loan somebody $10,000, exactly, you might want some kind of insurance that they're going to pay you back, right?
Right.
Can I get some of your water?
Yeah.
Just a little waterfall. Well, hers is right here. Children. All right.
I'll take another one too.
I didn't even put my mouth on it, girl. Okay. Is that the same as Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? Yeah. You're looking at the same government program. The FHA loan is the Federal Housing Administration. So you're talking about the same people there. Good call, Library Rebel. So FHA loans are 3.5% down, allow a shit ton of debt, and they come with permanent mortgage insurance. Why? Because the government is not going to give you money without trying to take advantage of you on the back end. Okay? So your mortgage insurance on the FHA loan is permanent. It means as long as you have that FHA loan, they will be taking money out of your pocket because that's what the government wants to do. They want to get you into a house so that not only can they get the taxes from you, but they want you to be dumb enough to keep that FHA loan for your entire life so they can keep taking more money from you, making double dip on your house. So we are going to teach you guys how to not only avoid that, but how to take advantage of the FHA loan. Nika, like you said, 20% down is stupid, and it is not worth it for 95% of people out there. 95% of you can't afford to take $60,000 and throw it down on a $300,000 house. Like, Nika, real talk. We're realtors, right? We're professionals. We make some decent checks.
Right.
How hard would it be to save up $60,000 like starting today?
Yeah. We'd have to sell a lot of homes.
We'd sell a lot of homes and not spend anything, right? Like nothing, right? And by the time we saved that $60,000, what would happen? The prices would go up, the interest rate would go up.
Right.
And then what if I told you that $60,000 home only got you, or $60,000 only got you a $300,000 home?
That's ridiculous.
You're living in the East Side.
Yeah.
You're living in a condo somewhere, right? You're not even in the home that you wanted.
Right.
So putting down $60,000 on a $300,000 home, you guys, it just doesn't make much sense.
And I don't know if you guys realize this, but $300,000 is not a lot it's not a lot of home these days.
Not anymore.
Like maybe back in the day, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, but it's really not.
It's really not.
So $60,000, that's how much people make per year. Some people make that a year.
Yeah. So what I tell people is, no, Nika, that's a great point. The people who are looking for a $300,000 house are the people who make $60,000 a year. Mm-hmm. How are you going to tell them to save their entire year's worth of money to get a house? That's crazy talk. Mm-hmm. And what are they doing while they're saving that money? They're paying rent,
right? Which
means they're giving their money away. How are you supposed to save money when every day, it's not like they're living for free, right? Every day they're paying $20,000.
They've got expenses. Yep.
Yeah. 1/3 of their check, 1/4 of their check is going to rent alone. How are they supposed to save money, right? So, you guys, you need to take this part very seriously. In fact, we're going to clip this for the old Tiki Talk. Why put down $60,000? Oops, I said $600,000. Why put down $60,000 when $10,000 gets you the same exact house? When you put down 3% on a house, they don't give you the attic. They don't make you live in the basement. You don't have to live in one of the rooms. You put down 3% and you get the same exact house. Imagine you bought one stock in Tesla, and they let you make decisions for Tesla. Like, you bought one stock and you got to call Elon Musk and go, "Hey, Elon, yeah, buddy, I'm not really feeling your venture with Twitter. I need you to pull it back," right? Like, hell no. You'd have to put, you know how much stock in Tesla you'd have to buy to be able to call Elon, right? But when you put down 3% on a house, you get the whole house. It's yours. You don't share it with anybody else. So putting down $60,000 when you can put down $10,000 just doesn't make sense, okay? Number 3, your house makes money for you. It's called equity. Quick question. Does everybody know what equity means? Or do you want to do a quick equity explanation for people, right?
Do a quick one.
Quick one? Okay. Yeah. You buy a stock in Amazon for $1. It goes to $100. What just happened to all my finance bros out there? Do I got any finance bros, any stock traders, any day traders? Austin says I need to get a newer laptop. What's wrong with this laptop?
So it's not compatible with our software. And so if you look at where that is on the screen, how 3 is at the top, if we go here, 3 is still down there, which means it's not keeping up.
Oh, mother truck. Okay, well, I will put a new laptop on my list of things to get. Thank you, Austin.
Yeah, let's crowdfund it.
No. I never do that. I would never do that. So, guys, if you buy a stock of Amazon for $1 and Amazon goes to $100, you just made $99 for every stock that you purchased, right? That's your equity. Equity is simply the difference between what you owe or what you paid versus what you gained. This is the reason people buy assets, you guys. It's not just avoiding taxes with their money. It's that they're looking to gain equity from their asset. Yes. So when you buy a house for $300,000, in fact, look at this, guys. Look at this. I just did the math for you right behind me. If you're watching on YouTube, you're seeing it. If you're watching on TikTok, you're going to have to listen to me explain it. Okay? You take a $300,000 house and you multiply it by 0.5 because 5% is the average equity for an American house. All right? Over a 5-year period, the average American house gains 5% equity, which means that $300,000 house is making about $15,000 per year. That means next year it'll be a $315,000 house, right? And then you take 5% equity of that, which means over a 4-year period, you're looking at an average of $60,000. Well, guess what, guys? If your house can make you $60K in equity, why the hell am I taking $60,000 from my own pocket?
There's so much more you could do with $60,000.
There's so much more you can do with $60,000. Now, people say, oh, well, you have a smaller mortgage. Okay. So putting down 20% shrinks your mortgage by $200 a month.
Right.
Fuck it. Let's call it $300 a month.
Okay.
Are you ready for this math, Nika?
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? Okay. So if your mortgage is $300 less a month because you put down 20%, over a 12-month period, how much money is that? $3,600.
Wow.
Over 4 years, you're looking at $14,400.
So how long is it going to take you to make that $60,000 back?
How long is it going to take you to make that $60,000?
It's going to take you a long time.
In the 4 years that you saved $14,000,
right,
your house's equity could have gone up by $50,000 or $60,000.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So you made 3 times in equity which you saved on that mortgage. How do the numbers make sense?
They don't.
They don't make sense, you guys. You guys just have to really sit down and understand the numbers and what all of this means, okay? The reason I'm talking about equity with you guys, is because you can use equity and cash to get to 20%, okay? You can use equity and cash to get to 20%. Could go up is the key word. When you buy a stock, the shares could go up. When you buy a business, the business could make money, right? Like there's a risk involved with every asset purchase. That's why most people are cowards and they never buy assets because they can't handle the risk that it might go down. But guess what? Cowards don't make millions. That's not like cowards die safely in their bed with a nice paycheck and Social Security deposit. Like, sorry. If you want to live life with no risk, that's great. I'm very happy for you, but that's not the way most of us want to live. All right. So once you have 20% equity plus cash, you can refinance your FHA loan into a conventional loan.
Into a conventional.
This is the only way for you to eliminate that permanent mortgage insurance premium that we talked about earlier.
Hey, not to interrupt you, but didn't it go down?
Oh,
it went down.
I'm doing a whole set of videos on that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of emails this morning saying that it went down. So.
Yeah. You guys, how much the mortgage insurance premium just dropped from 0.8 to 0.3? I think that's right. From 0.81 to 0.31. Mm-hmm. You guys, this means you guys can take on even more debt. That means the mortgages on FHA loans are not as high as they used to be. I'm serious, you guys. The downside to the FHA loan was that the mortgage rate, because of the PMI or the MIP, was higher. But if they just dropped it 0.5%, that means your mortgage on an FHA loan is going to be very, very lucrative. So you guys really need to look into that. All right. So what I want to tell people is a lot of you guys need to start thinking like rich people. And a lot of people think that means buying Gucci, right? But rich people try to never use their own money if they don't have to. If they don't have to use their own money, they don't. The cheapest people I know are rich people. If they can get something for free, they'll never pay for it. They won't. They would. They don't give a shit. Bless you. No matter how much money they have, if they can get something for free, okay, they won't. So you guys need to start learning to use other people's money. You start using assets, start using equity. Okay? Stop trying to use your own money. $20,000 or $60,000 out of your own pocket is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That's money you could have invested elsewhere, right? Once you have 20% down, you can refinance into an investment loan. Nika, why is it so good to have an investment loan, a conventional loan?
Because there's lower insurance. So your mortgage is going to be a lot less. If you break it down with an FHA, a lot of the mortgage payment is going to be that insurance.
Yep. A lot of you got, fuck, Nick, I love having you on. Do you guys know that a majority of what you're paying on your mortgage is interest and insurance? That's what like when you're paying your mortgage, a majority of what you're paying is interest and insurance. It's not even the principal. You're not even paying back. I mean, you are paying back what you owe, but out of that, let's say your mortgage is $2,000. I'm saying like at least $1,500, $1,600 of it is just interest and insurance.
Right.
You're mostly paying back what you borrowed. Okay. So where we want to finish with this and how you can take advantage of the FHA loan is this. The FHA loan is reusable over and over and over again. Once you refinance your FHA loan into a conventional loan, you no longer have an FHA loan, right? The FHA loan has one major requirement, and it says this loan must be used for your primary
residence.
Nika, can you tell them what a primary residence means?
It's the place where you live.
It's the place where you live. Well, guess what, guys? Once you have a conventional investment property, it's no longer the place you live. It's an investment property. Yeah, that is where 20% matters, you guys. That is where 20% is valuable. Once it's labeled as an investment property, you technically don't live there. It is an investment. So since you only own an investment property, you can have another FHA loan. And you can repeat this process of getting an FHA loan, refinancing it with equity and cash, turning it into an investment property, taking out another FHA loan, and you can repeat this cycle over and over and over again. This is how you start your real estate investment career without leveraging your own money. You're leveraging your assets and you're leveraging your equity. Do you have to move every time you do it? Yes. If you're taking out an FHA loan, you have to live in the house. Okay? You have to live in the house. All right? The grand finale of this, because I like math, I like numbers, I like money, right? I like
money, but I don't like numbers.
I didn't like.
Just give it to me.
Well, I didn't like math until I started having to calculate my commissions.
Right.
And then I start.
That's
and then
the fun part.
And then I started to really like math. I was like,
to Brandon for helping me do that too.
Yeah, it was like 3%. I like numbers now, right? I like numbers now. So when you get your first home, you guys, you're relying on what? One source of income. When you get your first home, you're relying on what? One source of income. One source. One source. Once you have your first investment property that you're making cash flow on, that you're generating equity on, you now have two sources of income to fund your next home.
Right.
So you take your next home, okay? You turn that into an investment property. Now you have two sources of income generating cash flow and equity.
Building equity.
Building equity. And every time you add a home to your roster, every time you add a new investment to your portfolio, that is less money out of your own pocket that you need to use and more money from just your assets and your equity. Once you have enough homes going, you'll never need to use your own money again. You'll have enough you have enough cash flow and equity in each house to pay for the next one.
See why we say don't put 20% down?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Matter of fact, next week we're going to do an entire class called 20% down no longer makes sense.
Right. And what you can do with that 20% instead of putting it down for a house.
Give it to Nika.
100%.
What?
So
I was just saying give the 20% to Nika.
Give the 20% to Nika. Okay. Now, to answer the biggest, yesterday when we taught this class, the biggest troll comment we got, right? The biggest negative Nancy comment we got is just use more cash. Can you believe that, Nika?
Oh, yeah.
Some guy's statement was,
why don't you have more cash?
Just use more cash. Just use more cash. I said, bro, this is the most privileged statement I've ever heard in my entire life. Just use more cash. You know what?
Can you stop being poor, please?
I'm going to stop feeding my kids. Poor? Yeah. I'm going to stop being poor today. I've just decided, my whole life I've decided I want to be poor. But today I'm going to start just using cash. My bad, right? Like I'm going to stop feeding my kids. I'm going to stop buying dinner. I'm going to stop putting gas in my car. Nope.
No.
I'm just going to pay cash. Like, what have I been doing wrong my whole life, right? All right, guys. Do you guys have any follow-up questions before we head to the real estate after dark? I tried to take everything very slowly and go step by step. I know a lot of these terminologies can be a little strange. So if you guys have any questions or comments, we always want them to reach out, leave a comment with any of your questions, right?
Let us know.
This terminology can be confusing. So if anything catches you guys up, please let us know. We are big fans of hearing from you, and we like your feedback. And we know that FHA loan, equity, refinance, it's a lot of new terms being thrown at you that you kind of are aware of what they may mean, but you may not have a full grasp of. Don't worry. We will not answer sarcastically or condescendingly. We will give you guys a genuine answer. We promise that. All right.
But please, if you were to really study one word today, it would be equity.
Yes.
That is the most important thing.
Yes. Equity is the single most important reason you buy a home. Period. End of story. Anybody who does it for like, there's an emotional reason, right? Like you have new kids and all that, whatever. But you're buying the home for equity. Quick question. If I pay a collection account, will it show? Whoa. You're asking financial questions, Nightcrawler. That is not what today's topic is on, unfortunately, brother. We are real estate agents. We are not financial professionals, okay? All right, you guys. That was the first segment of the Won't You Be My Neighbor podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you always. We're getting this YouTube series off the ground. Stay tuned for Won't You Be My Neighbor After Dark or The Real in Real Estate. As always.
Real estate's like dating.
Real estate's like dating. We got so many names for it. I will see you guys next week. Come and be my neighbor.
Bye.
All right. Oh shit.
I literally said, we're on. Welcome to production, everybody.
Welcome to production. Yeah, no, I didn't have this week to send people from TikTok Live over to YouTube Live because it was, I got banned again. People are so sensitive.
Who bans you? How do you get banned from that kind of stuff?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm so vanilla. I've never been banned before.
I like to be real with people. Austin, do we have enough traffic going, or should I get on TikTok Live to get some questions answered?
No, we're getting rehab or not
rehab. Goddamn.
Excuse me. We're getting
Winehouse is here.
We're getting vocab words put in.
Okay.
I typed it. I put in the chat. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna pick the best vocab words." So they're starting to come in.
But are they real estate terms or are they like dating terms?
So which one do we want? Do we want the dating term that we relate to housing, or the housing one we relate?
I felt like people feel more comfortable giving us the real estate terms and then having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what we're getting. We're getting. All right. So we have two so far. One of them I think we already covered, but I would say let's go for it, which is closing cost.
Oh, closing costs I think is a really good one. I think that's a really, really good one.
That's from Nestor Obedo.
I think that's a good one. That'll be our word for the day.
Closing costs.
That'll be our word of the day. Word of the day.
Oh, but last time, okay, so we were talking about it in terms of dating. Are we going to talk about it in terms of marriage, like the whole shebang?
Your call.
Let's just do, because I think buying a house is like marriage.
Well, I think so let me just pause real here. I think you bring up something I've been wanting to ask you about.
Okay. Oh, wow.
I know. You guys, this is her live reaction. Do modern women consider dating and marriage two separate things?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. This is going to be
like
so much fun.
Marriage is like very serious.
No. Okay. Okay. Let me re-ask my question because I think maybe I did a bad lead in.
Okay.
Right. Do modern women date a guy without the not idea, but without the intention of marriage? Because you said things like, what are the closing costs for dating and what are the closing costs for marriage? And in my head, I'm like,
you think it's the same thing?
It's the same thing. Like I'm proving to you that for the next 50 years of your life, this is how I'm going to treat you, right? So like the closing costs don't stop or start with marriage. It's just kind of like a.
I think dating and marriage are two totally different things. And the thing is like dating and talking and being in a relationship, they all mean different things to me.
Dating, talking. Okay, so explain talking. What is talking?
Okay,
is there any physical interaction involved with talking?
Yeah, I would say so. There is, but it's not like anything serious. Like that's talking is like maybe somebody you met casually, you see them once a week.
And what do you do when you see them?
You hang out, and there might be some physical interaction, but it's really not like.
Why let them stay in your house if they don't want to buy it?
That's true. But so the thing is like, how do you know which one you want to allow to buy?
By making them pay the closing costs.
So that's what closing costs is.
I think we finally come full circle, have we not, Austin?
Is that a good lead into what closing costs is?
Closing costs are the costs that
it takes to marry you
to get what I want,
right?
Which is like having sex with you for forever.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say marriage. So
that's what marriage is for us.
Okay.
Hey,
what? Marriage and having sex are the two same thing for
yeah.
Do you know how hard it is for us? Like, okay, so for a dude who can get laid easily,
right?
Do you know how much effort it took for him to achieve that? The kind of body he needs to have, the kind of charm and charisma he needs to have, the kind of lifestyle he needs to have to be able to have sex with women, different girls every day. Do you know how much effort that takes?
I don't know. How much effort does it take?
Oh, I just told you. You got to have a sick body, right? Like guys we're not just born charming and like, I'm only this way because I was really fat growing up. And so girls didn't like me.
It's like an ugly duckling.
Yeah. So I had to learn how to be funny as fuck and really charming. So now I'm funny as fuck and really charming, right? So it's like an effort
many years
thing.
of trauma that you had to go through.
I wouldn't call it trauma, guys. that word trauma is overused. Guys don't go through trauma. We go through failure. But yeah, closing costs are what it takes to get to what we want, which is I like having sex with you. You're hot, right? And I want to do it for the rest of my life because not only are you hot, but you're also easy for me now.
Right.
It doesn't take effort. Like when a guy first starts dating you, grabbing your boob is a huge like move.
Right.
After a year, he just fucking flicks your tits because it's like, oh, whatever.
You do it out of spite and
right?
for
like,
entertainment now.
It loses that, you guys gain a comfort where you're like, I don't give a fuck, right? You lose that defensiveness. That's where we want to get to forever.
Okay.
Right? So that's our closing clause.
A quick off the top question, or super random. So do guys ever get tired of seeing the same set of boobs? Like you're whoever you're dating, you see their boobs for the first time, it's amazing, right? What about year 2, year 3, year 4?
Because they're still titties. Like, let's be real here.
Yeah, okay. No, see, my guy, Austin, you're a real one. Okay, you're a real one. You're a real one. Okay. So there's a yes and no to your question.
Okay.
There's a yes and no to your question. Okay. Do guys ever get sick of seeing the same set of titties? Yes.
Yeah.
It's in our male brain. Again, this is how awesome guys are. It is in our male brain.
Awesome.
We are fucking awesome. Like, y'all don't even realize how awesome we are. Like, we have to deny ourselves so many things. It is in our male brains to want to see a new plethora of everything, right? That's why pornography is so popular. I can just go online and see a new girl every day, sometimes 3 or 4 of them at a time, right? Like,
right.
100 years ago, unless you were the king of England, you weren't seeing a new naked girl every day, bro. You had to be like royalty to get that kind of stuff. Right. So asking us if we get sick of it, yes and no. I could look at the same pair of my girlfriend's lovely breast fiance every single day and not get sick of it, right? Never. Yeah. Sometimes 3 or 4 times a day.
Right.
Right? But like it's in our weird lizard male brains
that you want to see another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's why guys can be married for 30 years and still like it never goes away, right? Yeah. Like the seeing the excitement of seeing somebody else naked never goes away. It never dies. We just kind of get better at being like, we'll control it.
Yeah, we'll make you think we're not excited. So you'll show us more.
Like year 5, you see boobs, you see her boobs, and you're like, it's whatever. I'm trying to watch TV.
I mean, it does get less exciting than the first time we saw your boobs, right? But like, at no point are we completely over it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's like the first time you kissed us, it was magic and Sparks and Coldplay.
Now it's
playing.
A chore.
And then you kiss me.
Like, did you brush your teeth?
Yeah. Now you're doing it because it's a routine. It's a routine. What's up, Addie? Now you're doing it because it's a routine.
Okay, sorry. Let's get back on track. I just was wondering.
No, this is why it's fun. One thing can lead to multiple conversations. So, closing costs. And this is why I asked you. You said there's talking, there's dating, and then there's this, right? This seems like a lot of extra steps that your dad used to handle.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like 70 years ago, you didn't need to have the talking phase and then the hooking up phase and then this. Your dad would just be like, hey, this guy's a fucking loser. Next.
Right.
Like he saved you a lot of time. Do you feel like this is better? Do you feel like this is like a better way to find a long-term partner? This I'm going to talk and maybe let him touch my boobs a little, and then the hookup phase, then the dating phase, then maybe he's married. Like think about how many dudes get to touch your body before you realize that they're wife material. Right?
I know. Well, I think the risk of marrying somebody who is not the right fit is really what we're afraid of. You know, we don't want to like get stuck in a marriage that we're like, why didn't we should have known, we should have seen the red flags, but like, how are you supposed to see the red flags? And
can't you see the red flags without like putting his penis around you?
I thought it was a carnival.
No, what I mean is like, guys are going to pay the closing costs. We're willing to pay the closing costs, right? But like, we're not going to start paying. We start paying closing costs from day one.
Okay. Which is like taking them out to date.
Yeah.
And stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chivalry is me paying for the date, which I'm totally about. Like I'm a complete 50s, like chivalrous, sexist, whatever. Like I'm paying for the date. You're not paying. I'm not, but that's my first closing cost. And then it goes on to like listening to how your day was, 30 minutes longer than anybody should ever have to listen
going
to.
Into very deep,
intimate details of your like, well, Barbara over in accounting was like this. And I felt like Barbara was a little mean today. Like she's usually very nice. And it's like, that's our closing cost. Okay. That's what we pay. Okay. But we only do this with the intentions of like long-term partnership. Okay. If it's just a girl that's just like, we want to just have sex with, we're not putting up with none of that shit.
Okay, well, I want to ask people on YouTube and is this TikTok?
Yeah.
So for the guys, how many guys have paid the closing costs with no intention of marrying?
Simps.
Hi. Well, I have the intention of getting married. She does not.
I'm sorry.
That's an interesting conversation.
Honestly, like, all I'm missing out on is just government contracts.
No, fuck that. You're missing out on so much more.
Like losing half.
Well, no, it's just it's not just the tradition. You know what? We'll dive into that at the end of the show. But I want to finish closing costs.
Okay, closing
right?
costs.
I want to finish closing costs. So the reason I asked you that about like what's dating for you, right? Because to me, I don't have enough time in my day to waste on somebody that isn't a long-term partner.
Yeah.
And I think.
But a lot of people do.
No, but they don't, because a lot of people are broke or say they don't have money or they're not where they want to be in life. And I think it's because they spend so much time just fucking around instead of just finding like
the one.
Like you can find if a guy has red flags without any physical contact whatsoever. Right. So all the extra phases to me, my ultimate question is like, do you think this way is working?
I don't know. I think everybody's situation is different. You know, I've met a lot of like high school sweethearts that are in their 70s and they're still in love. And I've met a lot of people who have married the people they had kids with when they were 21 and they've been in a relationship for 13 years and they're super miserable. So,
well, would you say many? Like how many? Like because I know when
percentage?
it comes with one, well, I know it's hard to do percentage because you're just taking the people you know, right? But we do have like big macro studies of this of who the happiest people are, and it's certainly not single people. It's certainly not single people. What is it? What's it? It's like
happy's relative though, and single and having kids are different too. So, what do you think?
What do you mean?
Do you think like or being married and having kids are different? So, are you taking the people who are happy, they're just married, or are they the ones that have kids too?
Well, I mean, now you're going to take me down a road that I'm going to get in trouble, right? Like procreating, like making a mini version of me that carries on my, DNA and all that stuff. That's
wild.
That is not only wild, but that's the whole goal, right?
That's why we're here, baby.
Yeah, if I'm not getting married, then like if I'm not having kids, to me it's just like, well, let's just date forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is date forever. Why go through the pomp and circumstance?
Oh, so you only get married because you want to have kids. If you don't see yourself having kids with somebody, then don't get married.
I mean, the whole concept was that this is the best way to rear children, right? With a 2-parent household, nuclear family, whatever you want to say, right? This is not the proper way, but like the most efficient way.
Yeah.
The way that leads to the most consistently efficacious results. Mm-hmm. Not to turn, having a family into like a science experiment, but like breaking it down, that's what they're looking for. So ultimately, before I take this on too far of a tangent, closing cost in real estate is what you pay to finally seal the deal, right? You found the house, you inspected the house, you went through your due diligence, you're about to marry the house, right? But before you can get to the marriage, you got to pay the closing cost, the final step. So that goes from everything from all the dates that you paid throughout the relationship,
meeting their friends, even though you didn't want to hang out with their friends,
to paying for the wedding ring, right? The wedding ring is a huge part of the closing cost. Mm-hmm. That's like the rest of the down payment, right?
Did we say the wedding ring was the EMD or no? What was the wedding ring? I can't remember what we said it was.
Wedding ring? Well, I think that was like the EMD, the earnest money. No, that's
I think we said like a good faith deposit.
Yeah, well, the wedding ring is like the down payment. It's the final down payment, right? Like the EMD is the initial.
So then, what's the wedding?
That's part of your closing cost, buddy.
Okay, so that's closing. So down is the
traditionally the guy, like traditionally the father of the bride was paying for the wedding. That wasn't a closing cost for men until recently.
Was that down payment assistance?
Love doesn't keep people together. When they polled Asian and I think Middle Eastern communities, the two communities who have the least divorce in America. The reason that they stayed together, love wasn't even in the top 5. Shame from their family was number 1 on the list. For the children is high on the list, and it's embarrassment. So they live in cultures where getting divorced still brings shame upon you. And they live in cultures where the marriage isn't about you, it's about children. So
it's about the whole family.
Love doesn't keep people together. Love is fleeting. How many times has someone said, oh, I fell out of love. I fell out of love. Right. Love means he stopped making money and working hard. You fall out of love with him. You stop having sex all the time because he's too busy working. You fall out of love. Love often means comfortable money and good sex. Like, truthfully, love is often comfortable money and good sex. That is what love is to a lot of people.
How often do you think people stay for good sex? Like, everything else can be so shitty in their relationship.
You ladies stay for good sex all the time. Good God.
They're like, but the D, I don't care how good that D is. Like, if there is...
The fact that you'll waste even... The fact that I'm not marriage material and you'll let me have sex with you for months on end means... the D is good.
Sneaky links.
Yeah. The fact that you even let me enter inside, the fact that I even get to rent your home with no intentions of marriage and I get to do it for months on end without any intention of buying you, that means like you're hooked on the D.
Or maybe you're not ready.
Then if you're not ready to be a renter, right? If your house ain't ready to sell, it definitely ain't ready to rent. It's not up to code. I like using housing terms that way no one gets me canceled. I like using housing terms that way nobody gets me canceled. If your house ain't ready, then it ain't ready for nothing. It's not ready for anybody. No one knows. There's a fear. It's like saying, Nika, I want to buy this house. And you go, okay, Brandon, there's a chance it gains you good equity. It's in Summerlin. And then I look at you and I go, well, how do you know? How do you know it's going to gain me equity?
I know. Well, I don't want to take any like personal life, but personally, you've dated for a while before popping the question. But how do you did you know? Did you have the intention?
Oh, I knew I was going to marry her the whole fucking time.
Right.
I come from a background and a culture that doesn't like marriage, especially in my generation and how we grew up. It was never seen as like an important thing, right? It was always divorce. Mm-hmm. So me personally, I never wedding was never in my plan. Even growing up, I was always the one picked to like be the last person married or never married.
Right.
Because to me, I just never saw
it's not that you didn't like commitment. You just didn't see the whole deal with marriage.
It wasn't committing to her. It was the idea of marriage in general.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. I just never foresaw it in my plans. But then, I don't know, one day I woke up and was like, oh, fuck, this person really wants to marry me. I should get going with this.
She's great.
Yeah. So I think that's for a lot of guys my age, right? Like what's crazy is we're paying the closing cost. Mm-hmm. Guys are willing to pay maybe not anymore, but like my generation of guys was willing to pay the closing cost.
Right.
Much like we didn't know how to buy a house, we also didn't know how to make that step into like, who's wifeable, who's marryable, who's marriage material.
Right. How do you learn that? You learn that from your parents or?
You're supposed to, but we come from the parents of divorce.
You just make the same mistake and then get divorced, try again.
We come from a generation of divorce. A lot of us didn't learn from our parents how to pay closing costs, right?
Right.
We didn't learn how to buy houses. We didn't learn how to be good.
So like what age was it where you just woke up and you were like, oh shit, I need to like put a ring on it? Because you already knew that you wanted to be with her forever. But was she the one that was like, we should get married? And you're like, dang. Was it like an age? Was it like a...
Well, I'm a special circumstance, but...
Yeah, you don't have to get, if it's personal, you don't have to get
No. I like getting personal. See, for me, I'm the opposite. I think making this personal makes it better, right? It's like a true story, right? So I can't speak for all guys on this one because each guy feels it differently. But there's a point where she does something where she puts you over her, like she puts your well-being over her. It's like the house giving you equity. You bought the house because you wanted to live in it.
Yeah, and you're putting time into it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know
what? That's perfect. That's a perfect way to go out on this is with a real estate explanation. So you buy the house because you think the house is beautiful and it's got the perfect layout and fireplace and you love the house. And then you buy the house and it took you a lot to get there. You had to get pre-approved. You had to do a bunch of work to get the house, right? But you love the house, so you were willing to do the work. Uh-huh. And you weren't sure if it was your forever home and you weren't sure how much you loved it. And then after 1 year, your house is worth $50,000 more.
Right. And the first time you realize that it was like worth $50,000 more, you're like, dang.
Oh my God. That's when you go from like, I love this house to like, this was the best decision I ever made, right? Because not only do you have a house you loved, you just made $50,000. Okay? Not only do you have a house you love, you just made $50,000.
Right.
That's what it's like the first time a girl or a woman puts you over her, where she starts doing things that you know is more beneficial or brings more enjoyment to you than it does to her. And even, here's the crazy, you ladies are so crazy, but it's your craziness that like fucks with like gets us ready to buy the house. It's you guys' craziness. You guys are so extreme that you will start like enjoying how much you please us. Like you'll start getting enjoyment out of like doing nice things for us.
Right, because we see how much you like it and how much how much happiness it brings you. So then we're like, fuck it, we'll just keep doing it. I'm just going to keep doing this.
Yes.
And I'm going to do it bigger and I'm going to do it better.
And that's the one thing men have no resistance to, is someone doing something nice for us and like enjoying it. It's something we don't get out of life. The only people who are like that to us are
your mothers.
Our moms. My mom is the only woman who ever did anything nice for me and enjoyed doing it.
Yeah. Your mom will wake up from a dead sleep and be like, are you hungry? Let me cook you like a 4-course meal.
Yeah.
And they won't even blink an eye.
100%. So that's guys can't get past that. And that's actually another discussion I'm going to jump on. But we've come to the end of our segment today. I think, see, this is why I like doing one word vocab and just diving in, because
right into it.
We can like it's a lazy river, man. We can go wherever we want with this conversation. We get really good feedback. So thank you guys for tuning in to our Real Estate After Dark segment. This has become its own segment on YouTube because we like having adult conversations with adult people. Thank you, everybody who tuned in to watch. We'll see you guys on Friday at 10 a.m. Thank you, Nika, of course.
Thank you for having me.
Nika, tell the people how to reach you on Instagram.
My handle is Vegas Realtor Nika, all one word.
Vegas, Nika. And just, if you message her, don't message her anything creepy. She's a professional. Okay? She's a professional. Just let her do her thing. If you guys have real estate.
If you're going to be creepy, at least be funny.
If you're going to be creepy, at least
make me laugh.
As always, I'm Brandon from Vegas. You can reach me at Brandon from Vegas on everything, all platforms.